Hand clap, brothers and sisters. We're finally back. We're finally ready to another reaction. And of course, hand clap goes out to the Mystelics family and the mini videos. So you need to see what's up on this vibrations, reaction vibrations for this Mystelics reacts channel. Welcome to every single one of you guys. I appreciate you guys for tuning in to see what's up in this vibrations. These are my thoughts and comments. What are y'all think your thoughts and comments in the comment box below as well, brothers and sisters. And of course, with that said, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. I would appreciate already and subscribe for more vibrations if you're not done so yet, brothers and sisters. So definitely do the vibrations right there. Anyways, without further ado, let us get into the vibrations. Of course, we're seeing this individual there. What is he doing? Who is this guy? Well, as indicated on top of this thing, brothers and sisters, me and my buddies, apparently this is the context of this whole situation, after realizing politics is where the real money is at. This is what this uncle guy has to say right there.
Corruption is not bad.
What? He says
corruption is not bad.
It's not bad.
Corruption is only bad if I'm not involved.
Yes.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I defend it.
Interesting. Let me replay that again, brothers and sisters. And the first person that comes to mind when you think of this, let me know that in the comment box below.
Corruption is not bad.
Corruption is not bad, this guy is saying. It is not bad.
Corruption is only bad.
Corruption is only bad. Corruption gets bad if only he is in it. Or whoever is in it, brothers and sisters.
I'm not involved.
If he's not involved, then it's bad. If he's not involved in corruption, brothers and sisters, then corruption is bad. Probably this is why most of the individuals who are involved in corruption today, they tend to bring in more people. So they themselves can be part of the corruption, and as a result of being part of the corruption, they will view corruption as not being bad. It is just me making my money based on how the world is working, isn't it? Isn't this how it works, brothers and sisters? I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. So he has to be involved for corruption to be good.
But if I'm part of that corruption, I defend it.
But if he is part of that corruption, brothers and sisters, then he must defend it. In other words, if I am doing corruption, I get people to join in with me. They are also involved in corruption. Therefore, for them to stay away from jail, brothers and sisters, for them to not be caught in dirty ways, for them to be defended with the corruption, they too must be in it. And as a result of being it, it is almost as impossible to come up from it because you are in it already. The only place out is jail after corruption, brothers and sisters. So the only way it makes sense is if you are involved in corruption and the people you are also involved in corruption with, they too are defending your right to make corruption not corrupt because you are in it. In other words, you stay away from jail. You must defend it at any way, shape, or form. Isn't that the correct way to do it, brothers and sisters? I don't know. Help me understand it. Right there. Talking about the sentiment of corruption, brothers and sisters, I don't know, but this individual from Portsmouth has realized that something is going on in 1 mile and he's asking questions. This is what he's asking right there.
Can someone please tell me what the purpose of this building was for on the 1 mile stretch in Portsmouth? This building right here was constructed for what purpose?
But it seems like they tend to build a lot of buildings in Dominica that don't necessarily have purpose, but it seems like it's washing money. So in other words, if you're building a building and the building costs about $4 million to build, I don't know, 4.5, I don't know, brothers and sisters, and you build that building for 1 million, but you put in the check out to 4.5, which means you have about 3.5 billion to collect for yourself. The building is there. Doesn't mean they're utilizing the building, but they know that the project is done, and therefore they can say, hey, this is what we have done. And as a result of saying, hey, this is what we've done, that means the $4.5 million has to go to who? The 3.5 million has to go to whoever because they have made the money. Not true? It's just like you contracting individuals, the people who have to do the job might cost $2 million, and you decided, okay, I'm going to pay these guys $2.5 million, even though you have to pay them about $100,000. You say, no, the project costs $4.5 million, the building is $2 million, and for the labor, it's $2.5 million. That sentiment rings true somewhere for you or some reason or the other. I'm not sure if you possibly thought of the international airport where it was once costing about, I don't know, less than $300 million, and today it's alleged to cost about 2.5 or 2.3 or 2.6 billion dollars to make the international airport. But of course, what is this individual saying right there?
Please, can someone help me?
So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna give you guys hints. This building construction started in 2013. Second hint.
So that's 12 years ago.
It needed a plant with some red seeds.
So please enlighten me and tell me what this building was for.
Can you guys let me know? Can you guys let the individuals who do not know what exactly is going on in this sentiment? I do not know personally what exactly is going on right here, brothers and sisters, but I do know this sentiment rings true in other projects across Dominica. And I'm sure you guys can relate when the sentiment comes down to why they are building buildings and then buildings are not building. You get my drift. Like the river is not rivering, the building is not building. I don't know if that makes sense. But you get my point, brothers and sisters. Hopefully you get that sentiment right there. Of course, we have more in that regard. This is, of course, where the fishermen in the south of Dominica have received boats, received gifts, Christmas time.
Dominica handed over 11 new fishing vessels to fisherfolk in Soufriere.
So that means 11 boats will be making about $45,000 each per day. According to the very Prime Minister himself, who indicated that fishermen make up to about $45,000 a day. He had said that, not me. SKERRIT is the one who said that, not me, brothers and sisters, with the indication that if you bring 11 boats, that is going to be about $450,000 a day. No, sorry, $494,000 a day, brothers and sisters, because it's $45,000 each. All right. $495,000 a day, brothers and sisters.
Under the Emergency Agricultural Livelihoods and Climate Resilience Project.
Of course, climate resilient. That means the boats are also climate resilient, aren't they? I'm guessing that I remember some time back they have to give engines. Was that the case? Well, yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, brothers and sisters. If individuals in fishing boats, I think that is a good thing. The problem I do have is when the economy cannot produce the individuals, because back in the day, individuals had their own boats. Government was not giving people any boat. You mean to tell me in a day and age, a modernized time that we're living in, more advanced time, the government has to resort to giving fishermen boat? When back in the day, fishermen would either build their own boat or buy their own boat, cash in hand, brothers and sisters. Is this somewhat an upward mobility or is this downward mobility, brothers and sisters? Help me understand right there. Because if we are progressing, the economy needs to be progressing as a result of individuals back in the day being having the ability for them to buy their own boats or make their own boats. And today they cannot do so. Under the understanding that fishermen make about $45,000 a day, according to the Prime Minister. I mean, it's very interesting. Somebody is lying somewhere. Don't you think so? I think so, because if the fishermen are making about $45,000, they at least half of that, brothers and sisters, they make about what? 22.5K every day, not a month, brothers and sisters. So maybe they go out once a week and so forth and so forth. So they make this, about $80,000 per month, brothers and sisters. That's what fishermen tend to do. So that should bring in a good amount of change in Dominica. The problem here is, who exactly are they selling the fish? Are they exporting the fish? How is that happening? Because apparently SKERRIT did not break down the understanding of the $45,000 for us. No? Yes? No, baby? Talk to me, brothers and sisters. I don't know. Help me understand. Help me understand this right there. Are they exporting the fish, or are Dominicans so in love with fishes that they eat the fish like crazy? And as a result, $45,000 a day is nothing to the Dominican people who get the fish. Like I indicated before, brothers and sisters, nothing is wrong in getting this stuff. The problem I have, however, is when the fishermen who are making this kind of money or are alleged to be making this kind of monies cannot buy or make their own boat. And as a result of this, they have to wait for the government to give them boats. And the question here is, of course, again, I indicated before, is this upward mobility or is this a downtrodden mobility right there?
To fulfill a promise made post-Hurricane Maria.
Post-Hurricane Maria, I guess that'll be in 2017, but post is always after. How long after? Because we've been hearing this for quite some time, brothers and sisters, that fishermen are going to be getting boats. And post-Maria from 2017 to 2025, that's about what? 8 years? 8 years, and I'm guessing they finally get the boats. I guess the boats were in production, they were in production and had to be made, and it took about 8 years. They had to go and cut down the trees. They had to do all these things. They had to ferment, dry, do whatever they have to do,
This investment investment worth $475,000 forms part of a wider initiative to deliver 51 boats nationwide by the...
So 51 times $45,000 a day should be a good amount of investment, brothers and sisters. But like I indicated before, and the reason why I'm saying this, brothers and sisters, a number of persons don't seem to understand exactly where that is coming from. So that's why I'm asking, well, when you're selling the fish, are you selling the fish to all Dominicans? Because let's say a fish is $10. $10, that means you have to spend, sell about, for you to get 45, that you have to sell about 4,500 fishes at $10. 4,500 fishes at $10 will give you about $45,000, brothers and sisters. So I'm guessing that's probably what it is. And, you know, I guess you have many mouths to feed, and, you know, this kind of things is necessary for the continuation of human existence. The eating of fishes on a daily basis at $45,000 a month. A day, sorry.
December 2025, as 31 vessels have been already distributed.
Oh, so 31, brothers and sisters, 31, quite a number of money is coming in through fishing. Hopefully the fish is being exported. Is a fish being exported, brothers and sisters? Talk to me. I want to know. The individuals who know about these things, let me know. Are the fishes being exported? Are they somehow being sent to Martinique or Guadeloupe? Or is there some sort of chartered boat, or just a normal boat that has refrigerating capabilities that can store at least 4,500 fishes every time to travel underwater? Because Guadeloupe and Martinique don't have fishes, so they have to get the fish from Dominica or the Caribbean islands that are surrounded by the sea, you know, or maybe it's England, you know, places like England that don't have, well, England is surrounded by sea too, so maybe the desert, we are selling fish to the desert, we go into, well, SKERRIT going to Saudi Arabia and this place, well, these folks also have fishing, so maybe, places that don't get fish, cheers. But why would you come all the way from the Caribbean to get Caribbean fish when you have, I don't know, bigger fishes in your area? Because I know the Pacific Ocean has a lot of big fishes and big crabs and stuff, and the Atlantic has much smaller animals. I don't know, but you guys can probably help me in that understanding there. Where exactly are all these monies being made? I think that's a good question, no?
Dr. McIntyre and Denise Charles highlighted the vessels as symbols of resilience, opportunity, and economic renewal.
Now, I know they talk about Dennis Charles and McIntyre. We obviously know that none of them are most likely has nothing to do with this. It's SKERRIT that has everything to say, hey, we need to distribute these things out there and so forth and so forth. Because, I mean, that's a lucky guess. It's possible that can be a very lucky guess, on the understanding that it seems like SKERRIT is all the one who's always in charge of these things, of everything, and he's just using certain people in positions. I mean, Melissa, let's take, for example, Melissa. Melissa went on the podium to talk about marijuana. Yes, Melissa SKERRIT did that. Yeah. That don't sound weird to you, but Melissa went up to marijuana podium and was speaking, you know, about the Mary J. the expertise, you know.
The boats are built by craftsmen of Dominica with international guidance.
Okay. With international guidance. So what about the fishermen who used to build their boats back in the day? Why didn't we use their guidance? The boat's not good again, or what? What's going on?
The program aims to strengthen local boat building skills and ensure that the vessels meet safety and international standards while boosting food security and livelihoods.
Now, I understand international standards, but why is that relevant to Dominica? Are the boats going to be sending fishes overseas? Do the boats have to reach a certain requirement for them to be able to collect fish? What's going to happen with the other boats that don't meet these international standards, where they also get fish? You know, I think that's an interesting question to ask. Don't you think so? I think so. What are your thoughts? So nice scenery, you know, nice scenery of the area. You know, I know that boat specifically down here. That boat is not one of the boats, That boat is not one of the boats, but I guess hopefully that boat meets international standards. Anyways, brothers and sisters, moving along right there. I also heard the Prime Minister talking about, well, not the Prime Minister, this video was talking about, you know, them doing great things for the fishermen out there, and I guess great things for businessmen alike. Is that the case? No.
Work hard in America. Spend my money. Buy a whole bunch of equipment. And that's just some of it. To create employment in my hometown. Create employment for my hometown people. It is the results.
And it's interesting that he's showcasing this thing, because maybe this is in Meru, I'm not really sure. But I remember when there was this whole playground thing, water park, we call it. This is not really a water park, but they call it the water park. I guess you can play on the sea and on balloons and stuff that you can jump on and slide on, which of course is a nice thing. Nice, you know, we enjoyed that. They had that in Portsmouth as well. So, you know, and you could hop on the banana boat or whatever, and boat pulling you and going and swing. Have fun, wonderful. But the merit of business in Dominica, I mean, you go overseas, made a lot of money, you know, patronizing another economy that is much better than Dominica, to come down to Dominica to try to give back. And then this is the sentiment that you're ending up with, because apparently based on in Meru, when we saw the big balloons and stuff, we don't see that again in Portsmouth, where we had the big balloons and stuff. That was similar to what was in Meru. We don't see this kind of stuff at all. And, you know, it doesn't seem like it is a conducive business. On the understanding of this, brothers and sisters, a number of persons have been saying that they want to get this, and we need water parks and so forth and so forth. But needing these things and then having these things, but then these things are not profitable to individuals based on the economy, kind of tells you a number of things. Now, keep in mind, this individual came from overseas, as indicated in the video, and talking about the very thing he's trying to do in Dominica. I also know more people who actually came to Dominica from Canada and the United States to come to Dominica to try to help. I've also spoken to a number of businessmen when it comes on to them trying to do things in Dominica as a result of the money they're making. And the only way they can necessarily sustain the business that they have in Dominica is because they're making monies overseas to then send to Dominica, just so that they can keep the businesses afloat. There have been others who have attempted, especially during the time when SKERRIT came. Oh, but the overseas people who are in Dominica once will be flocking back to Dominica because things will be booming. But apparently things got worse after SKERRIT said that, and as a result of this, a number of persons came down and realized that they spent a lot of money, not just this individual, but others have spent a lot of money also trying to get the loans, the very cheap loans, that of which they ended up in problems as well. They could not get that. This is why SKERRIT himself had to go and say, hey, we need to free up these loans. Probably the same person that signed it saying, hey, we need to free up these loans, just because it sounds good. I don't know, I could be wrong there, but you guys will let me know in that regard. But a number of persons actually came down to Dominica to try to set up businesses, and they received a lot of blockages. And of course, one of the blockages that individuals who did not meet each other told me indicated that apparently when the government meets with some of these individuals, they then want their cut. They didn't want their cut. Keep in mind, I told you about people overseas who have their business in Dominica, who are keeping their businesses afloat because they make money overseas to send these monies to help the businesses in Dominica, because Dominica is conducive. Now, with that understanding right there, people who left overseas to come to Dominica to try to build businesses have indicated to me that the government also wants their cut. So it's one thing to keep a business afloat. It's another thing when you decide to take all your money, or a lot of your money, to come down to try to do something in Dominica, and the government doesn't see the economy that they have destroyed as a means for them to say, okay, let me see if I can put in money in your business and this kind of thing. Say, no, they want to get their cut. This is why a person indicated to me, Mystelics, what do you think about the new airline that is going, just dropped in Dominica? Do you think that the Prime Minister is potentially maybe the owner or has a lot of shares in this company, and as a result of this, they bring it into Dominica so that maybe they can bring individuals to things? Because if the flights are coming in normally, then, I mean, you have more flights coming in, so they are able to bring more people in as a result of these flights coming in almost every day. They come from Puerto Rico and St. Thomas. So would it be possible that the airline might be owned by SKERRIT, or it might be owned by a government official, or might be owned utilizing the shares, or is it owned by the government himself or government themselves? and it's under specific other people's names. You know how they tend to do business sometimes. You might own a business, but you don't want people to know it's your business. So you put somebody to be the owner of the business, but they have a secret contract indicating who actually is the real owner of that business. You know that tends to happen. Because I might be there, I'm in charge of YouTube, but the real person in charge of YouTube is the one who owns YouTube. But you see me, I'm the one that comes up, the CEO. I'm the one who comes up and talks on behalf of being the owner. Isn't that possible? Anyways, let's continue with this guy.
This is the results. With no help, absolutely.
So it seems like maybe the government, and I'm just indicating, making a reference, just to draw a reference there. Maybe the government wanted their cut in that business as well. And the person was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take all my money or most of my money to come down to Dominica and build my business from scratch and do these kind of things. And these things is very much wanted. But the problem with wanting it is the sustainability factor. I don't think people seem to understand this. Yes, having fun on the sea is nice. And we need this stuff in Dominica. But is there a sustainability factor in Dominica? That's what we need to look at. We might have a little more population than St. Kitts, but St. Kitts population has spending power, as opposed to Dominica, who has more population than St. Kitts, but doesn't have the spending power. This is why it's you must understand population size and its ability to patronize business, brothers and sisters. If 94% of Dominican households make less than $2,500, with a lot of rising expenses. But this is a question I have to ask out there to the individuals who are in Dominica. Let me know something. Since the dropping of prices, or when will the price, I think it's October, is going to be dropping. You guys will keep me noted for 6 months. When they have, or if they're implementing this stuff, can you guys let me know if the prices in the stores for particular items went down, or did they stay the same? Because from my understanding, it doesn't seem like, well, I wouldn't want to see that. We'll just have to see as time goes by. If it has been implemented, maybe September 1st it started. I don't know. You guys can let me know that. I forget when it started. But you guys can let me know. Was the prices readjusted? Anyways, let's continue right there.
No help, absolutely. This is what most of my equipment come to be. Dry rot, rotting.
Dry rot and rotting because there's not much business. What exactly?
I know, thanks. And this is just some of it. There's a lot more than what you see here. On my boats, spent a lot of money. I have about 13 kayaks. And this government gave me a bunch of lies.
No, he has a understanding to mention the government. You know why, brothers and sisters? Because it seems like when the government has decided to not patronize people who might not support them, then therefore you have the tourists coming in and you have a number of persons coming in. They never put your business out there. Even though your business might be the only one of its kind, they don't send, well, that's what I have observed. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. If you observe something else, let me know that in the comment box below. But this is what I've observed right there. They don't seem to put your business in the map. They don't bring the tourists or nobody to patronize your business for them to have fun. None of that stuff seems to be the case right there. Because the very government is working against its own people. Its own people. But then they say, oh, taxes are not being collected and so forth. Where they getting taxes? Huh? From the air? You think they can just pick that movie? They're just picking things from the sky and things just coming to fruition. You think it's all? Try it in Dominica, let me know.
And refuse to list me a piece of property on the Popotete beach.
So this is in Purple Turtle. Maybe that's, like I mentioned earlier, it seems like maybe that's what we're talking about. The water park, quote unquote, that was in Portsmouth. It disappeared. The water park in Miro also disappeared as well. So there was a jet skiing business that happened. I mean, I was one of the individuals that probably got one of the first rides to be on one of the jet skis and stuff. You know, as an influencer, hey, come on, go and test it out, whatever. So I did that. I left. They came back Dominica, that business was gone. So,
which will prevent me from having to transport all his equipment.
oh, this is in Purple Turtle. I was talking about Coconut Beach in Portsmouth. Sorry, brothers and sisters.
Back and forth. Every time I have to go to the beach. Every time I have to go to the beach to do a little water sport. Giving people from around D something to do when they come to the beach because there is nothing going on at the beach.
I just said that. You would think that the businesses that are not, they are in high demand for, but they are not there. But when these businesses do come, it's still in high demand, but it's just that the people have their priorities set straight. They have to try to save $5 plus $5, $55. And maybe, you know, hopping on one of the things might cost what, $20, $30. And if they're not able to pay these monies, then what you have a high demand without the actual spending power. You see the dilemma that is happening in Dominica? There is a high demand, brothers and sisters, on business. You understand that when demand is high, business flourish. In Dominica, demand is high for these kind of things that this man is doing right there. Demand is very high. But for some reason or the other, he cannot meet. He's meeting the demand, but he cannot meet. The people might not be able to pay the monies for these things. I also think there's also an understanding of marketing as well. Marketing can also be an issue. But I do know that there was a number of these things set up around the Portsmouth region, and you know, people went and it seemed like this thing was deflated. Interesting.
Nothing. When I came up with this idea, how many years ago? I started purchasing my equipment and store them in my house and then ship everything to Dominica.
Pay your duties and what have you. That reminds me of that doctor who sent a container to help Dominicans and he had to clear his container. He had to clear the container.
This is the result. The rotten in.
Huh?
Roach.
The roach have to use the equipment instead.
Over them. What a shame. What a shame. Thousands of dollars went to waste. Thousands and thousands of dollars went to waste. Trying to do something in my own country for my own people. Piece of shit.
Well, guys, you already know how it goes when it comes into Dominica right there. What are your thoughts on the sentiment that he actually spoke about there? Do you think that it was his fault? Do you think it's government fault? Do you think it's actually Dominica that is not conducive to any sort of business that will require not necessarily a need, but a want that is in high demand for and cannot meet the want of the people because the people do not have much monies? What exactly is that? Now, keep in mind, the government is talking about having an 8% raise for employees, you know, which of course is nice, but they're dividing it in 3 years. I think it's 3%, and 2%, and 3% the next year. But then you people seem to be forgetting it's better it's 8% this year, and maybe it is 5% next year, and then 8% next year. Would that be conducive? Yes, because you have stuff like inflation. Inflation happens every year, brothers and sisters, where the value of money decreases. Every year, money value does not increase. It decreases as a result of inflation. So even if you're seeing your bank account, I explain this and continue explaining this. Even if you're saving in your bank, brothers and sisters, and you say, boy, let me put my savings there. That is foolish. Let me put my savings there so that I can definitely get a 2%. But then you're getting 2% and the value of inflation might be going up. I think it's, even in Dominica, the value of inflation at one point in time, I think it's 2023, was 5%. 5.13, I think, or 5.26%. Inflation. Normally, inflation is about 2.5%, brothers and sisters. So if you're getting about 2% in your bank every year, that means you're getting less of 0.5% on the value of your money. So your value of your money is actually going down. But you think because you're getting 2%, the bank says 2%, that is something wonderful. It's not. The individuals in the United States, what I think you need to do, you need to get into CDs. But then again, you need to have quite a number of monies, which means you need to save up a good amount of money, probably $20,000, $30,000 if you're able to do this, and do the CDs that are 3 months, so that you get your cycle back. Sometimes it's 5%, 10%, whatever. But if that is the case, you get, I think, you have to put about $25,000 based off the rate that you actually go. If it's 4%, that's great. If it's 5% for your CD, then that's wonderful, much better. That will indicate in the next 3 months you get about $1,000 right there. If it's 2,500, 25,000 you put into your CD. That means you don't touch it. You cannot touch it for the 3 month, brothers and sisters. So that's something you guys might look into instead of making 2%. That can actually help right there. Does Dominica have CDs, guys? CDs? It'll be interesting to know. By the way, guys, Dominica has trust. I just found that out yesterday. I was speaking to a lawyer friend of mine who indicated to me that Dominica does have trust. It's something that is not being utilized. And apparently people don't know these things because why? They don't teach these things in schools. Do people even know what is trust? Do you know what is LLCs? I'm putting LLCs on the trusts and this kind of... What is school? What is school? Anyway, brothers and sisters, let me just leave that there. Hopefully the individuals who are involved in that business, hopefully you have an LLC in Dominica. That might actually help when you're making your losses right there. I just giving you an idea. Anyways, brothers and sisters, what are your thoughts on what I've spoken on this here reaction? Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comment box below, brothers and sisters. Of course, I did read all the comments within 24 hours. So definitely let me know your thoughts and comments in that read already. And it's about Mystelics once again, guys. Be real, Saturday King always. Thanks so much for watching. With that steady right here, brothers and sisters. Saturday King. Be positive.